A massive trade is incoming for the Houston Rockets as a new report sheds light on what GM Rafael Stone is looking into for this Houston Rockets team. And it's going to have major implications in what this starting lineup, what this roster is going to look like for the 2025-2026 NBA season. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rockets Digest. I am your host, Donovan Ricondo, and we're going to get straight into things here today. There's been a lot of trade talks and a lot of rumors circulating around the Houston Rockets for the past month and a half on whether or not they're going to acquire a guy like Giannis, whether they're going to acquire a guy like Kevin Durant. They have run rampant here, especially right here on Rockets Digest. And a new report adds to the depth of these conversations, as it has been reported that the Rockets are expected to look into trading the number 10 pick amid the NBA draft this off season. And now that is some interesting news. This comes from Kevin O'Connor, from Yahoo Sports, saying, quote, league sources expect the Rockets to look into trading this pick, whether it's a trade way up, a trade out for a star, or a trade out for a group of future picks similar to what the Spurs received from the Timberwolves when they moved up from Rob Dillingham last year. End quote. That is Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo Sports. I think Josh Connor's an actor from Challengers. But nevertheless, that new report is shedding some light on what this front office is looking to do. And it's pretty much confirmed a lot of the things that we have been talking here on Rockets Digest, trading away the number 10 pick. The GM, Rafael Stone, the front office understand that drafting, a guy right now with the 10th pick might not be what's the best fit for this roster. This is a team that needs shooters. This is a team that needs a backup point guard, preferably someone who's more of a reliable primary scorer in Jalen Green. Of course, you would still hope that it is Jalen Green, and then that problem never occurs again. And it seems like they have full faith in a guy like him going forward. But this 10th pick is not really in the cards for the Houston Rockets, according to this report. And it says that they were going to either trade way up, trade out for a star, or trade out for a group of future picks. So let's start with trading up, right? What would trading up look like in this scenario? To me, there is that the chances of that happening are very unlikely. There aren't really like impact guys that can be on your team next year as a rookie and have the kind of impact that you would hope in trading up. Yes, there's Cooper Flag, but the Mavericks would be foolish to trade away that number 1 pick, especially to the Rockets, who are, Texas rivals. So that's pretty much off the table. There's guys like Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, who are also solid, but, Cooper Flag has been seen as the only guy that you would really want to trade up for in this draft. I'm high on Trey Johnson as a Texas guy myself, but the chances of us trading up from the 10th pick to somewhere 1, 2, 3 are pretty much not in the cards. But now, what about trading away for a superstar? Well, of course, there's the rumors of Giannis and KD and possibly trading for one of those key NBA superstars this offseason. But I really don't see us trading for them either. I mean, Giannis more than KD for sure. I know Phoenix would want that pick back, the number 10 pick back, with some compensatory picks, as well as some players like a Jabari Smith Jr. or a Jalen Green, someone like that. Giannis, a little more realistic, but at the same time, a lot of the trade reports involve not only that 10 overall pick, but also a guy like Alperen Şengün, which you ask me, right, is like you do not trade away the player that kept you in the series against the Golden State Warriors. Alperen Şengün was your go-to guy, has been your best player all season, was an all-star last year. And so I feel like it would be disingenuous for this front office, for Rafael Stone, to make such a huge decision like that and giving away, the guy that showed up, but then you want to keep the guy that failed to show up in the playoffs in Jalen Green. So they've stressed continuity. They've stressed those things all off season. And GM Rafael Stone has even said it himself about these trade talks in the off season. He said, quote, on trade talks, "It's a very high bar to do a transaction that changes things," end quote. And it's a very simple quote, but it speaks volumes to what the Houston Rockets are going through throughout this entire offseason, right? They've stressed continuity. They've stressed how, yes, Jalen Green did not have a great playoff performance, but we still trust in him and to be that guy. Plus, the contract, the money, all still makes sense. They trust in a guy like Alperen Şengün, who they will rely on to show up in future playoff series. There's guys like Amin Thompson, who just was on the first team all defensive team this year and will probably win a defensive MVP within the next 5 years. Solid player to have, absolutely fantastic. And so it's a high bar. They've stressed keeping this young core together as long as they can. It's not the most expensive thing right now. If you were to trade for a guy like KD or Giannis, that's a lot of the salary that you are designating to those players. And there is a lot of questions on whether or not you can continue the momentum from last year when you trade away a key piece to your young core. If you trade away a guy like Alperen Şengün, if you trade away a guy like Jalen Green or an Amin Thompson or someone like that. And so I definitely see this more as a trading this number 10 pick for future assets. I feel like that is the more likely scenario for the Houston Rockets. And what that would look like is still yet to be determined. Whether or not we will still have a first round pick in the NBA draft this season also still remains. I do see us, if you ask me, trading this away for, again, like how the Spurs did last year in acquiring more picks down the line. Some picks that aren't within the next 2 to 3 draft years, but some picks that are 4 drafts from now, 5 drafts from now, when you expect for there to be more room to develop young talent, like the Spurs have, like the Thunder have, like all those other teams. That is the kind of mentality that this report sheds light on into what the Houston Rockets front office is thinking, of course. And there is one more quote that I do want to get to about this that kind of just solidifies this right here, what I have been saying. This is from ESPN's Tim McMahon, who said, quote, "Stone, Udoka, and Patrick Fertitta, the son of the owner and who acts as a middleman between the owner and the front office, are aligned in the ambition to allow this young group to grow together. Nevertheless, it is anticipated that there will be internal discussions at a minimum this summer regarding potential star pursuits in the trade market," end quote. And again, that is, to me, is just solidifying, like, yes, we are going to listen to those conversations. Rafael Stone has said it himself. He wouldn't be doing his job if he was not, right? He's going to listen to the things that come to his table. But at the very least, right, the priority for this team is to maintain this young core. And if they firmly believe that this is a young core that can do it, all they need is shooters to add to it, a backup big man if Steven Adams decides to not come back to Houston next season. I feel like with that, your chances of getting past the first round are almost certain. And so those are the key, or those would seem to be the key aspects that this Houston Rockets organization is focused on, and that this number 10 pick really doesn't mean much to them right now if they were to take it. There's a lot of good talent in this draft that you can get at number 10, but for the timeline of the Houston Rockets, it is just not. The cards aren't quite aligned. The stars aren't aligned, if you will. So with that, that is the report for today. If you made it to the end of the video, that tells me you like the Houston Rockets, you've enjoyed this content, and subscribe down below. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time on Rockets Digest.